Good morning, Chalk Mercantile and Surface Anthology. It's Jane, and I have a couple of good things to show you and to talk about today. I had a customer ask me let me show you the picture, how do I do this? How I created this urn. So in this, with this dresser, I actually freehand, I drew the urn freehand. I'm gonna show you how I did that, and it's really easy to do. And the flowers and the script on the urn, and I can show you a close-up of that. Let's see, no, no, solo. Okay, so there you go. So those are, I think I used, Painterly Flowers. I can't remember, but it's one of the Iron Orchid stamps with flowers, and any of those stamps will do. And of course the Kindest Regards script stamp, which I absolutely love. All right, let's see if I can get myself back here. There I am. Hey, it worked. But the first thing I want to talk to you about, because I received a question about painting kitchen cabinets that had been previously painted with chalk paint, and this customer wanted to know if they needed to strip the cabinets, what kind of paint could they paint with, on top of the wax, without the wax. It was a whole thing. And look at these cabinets, beautiful, right? There's a light kitchen, and here is this just gorgeous dark kitchen with that yellow door. So there's a lot of painted kitchens and there's a lot of choices, but you have to stop and you have to try to figure out a plan. You have to have a plan, because you don't want to mess up your cabinets. You don't want to put all that money in buying paint and all of that to have it fail. So when you have a kitchen that's been previously painted in a chalk paint and it's waxed, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody came to me and said, well, I don't know what kind of paint it was or wax, I'm like, you have to remove the wax. That's just the answer that I would give you, because that wax, creating a layer, you put another layer of chalk paint over that, it just isn't going to be a great bond. I have painted over waxed furniture pieces and messed around with the finish, and it worked out great. I would absolutely not do that with kitchen cabinets. So the other thing you have to do, if you can, is what brand of chalk paint was it and what brand of wax was it? Because sometimes people mix up the brands and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And in this case, it was Annie Sloan chalk paint and Annie Sloan wax. And what you should do when you find out is just immediately, don't go to YouTube, don't, start Googling it. You just go to an Annie Sloan dealer or a DIY paint dealer or CC Caldwell or Amy Howard, whoever it is, you go to them and find out, what do? I want to repaint my cabinets, and then do exactly what they tell you, because they have been trained. And if you try to put like a latex paint over wax, it will come off like saran wrap. I mean, it would be great if we could all afford professional painters. That's what I would do. I wouldn't mess around with my cabinets, but that doesn't mean you can't do a beautiful job. But all of it, the success of your kitchen painting experience and how it's going to wear is in the prep. So you absolutely have to prepare, find out what you can. Now, if they are just wood cabinets, right, and they have, no matter what kind of like a factory finish they have, what you have to do is remove all the grease, all the grime, all the dirt, and I mean down in every little crack and crevice. If you have, like in this picture, molding, absolutely it has to be, they have to be sparkling crystal clean. And there are some great cleaners out there that you could use for that. Don't use Dawn, because it will leave a film and it will start sudsing when you're painting, and it won't remove all of that grease. You need a really strong cleaner, and that when you get all that removed, the paint will have something wonderful to bond to, and you'll have a successful painting experience, and you'll have one of these gorgeous kitchens. So that's my answer about that. Now the next thing, we're going back to our dresser and how I created that urn, and it was just freehand. I just drew it freehand. So somebody asked, well, where do I get the urn shape? I don't even know. Go grab a magazine. Here's an urn. It's a tall urn. You know, think about the style of your piece of furniture, what look you want to have. This is a tall, beautiful, elegant shape. You could even draw all those, that kind of lattice look if you wanted to. And then I have another one, and this is for inspiration. If you have like a low, long piece, look at this urn shape, which is just beautiful. And you could just, you know, fill it with flowers, iron orchid stamps or transfers. It would be really, really lovely. And what we're interested in is this shape, the outline, and these pictures serve as inspiration. So what I did for my piece is I grabbed a very large piece of paper, and I've got craft paper down because I don't want to work white on white. You won't be able to see it. So I grabbed a large piece of paper. I'm working a little bit smaller now. You could grab a giant piece of craft paper like I have here. You can use newspaper. You just need something that you could draw on and then cut out. So I grabbed a giant piece of paper. I folded it in half because I wanted it to be symmetrical. And all I did is I had an idea in my mind, you know, the shape of the urn that I wanted, and I just drew half an urn. And I really kept it loose. I didn't want like some perfectly, you know, shaped urn. I want it very painterly. So you can really have fun with this. So can you see that? It's just up, and I kind of am making it a hill. You might want to make it, you know, like a dip, but you could adjust that after you hold it up. And then I just drew like this little lip here, the belly of the urn, some little waves, and down we go. And then you just cut it out. It's like being a little kid again. It's really fun, and you can get some great shapes. And it's something that you made. That's your original design. And I don't want to hear anybody say, well, I can't draw. I don't have an original idea, because I talk to you all in my shop and you do. And I'm always impressed with what you guys come up with. So just have fun. I'm going to get rid of some of this extra paper. The bigger you work, it does get a little awkward. You might want to, even if you have a really giant piece or you're doing something on a wall. Imagine this on a wall. It would be beautiful. You might want to sit on the floor. These are not the best scissors. Okay, but anyway, you'll get the idea. And I'm gonna cut off a little bit of this bottom, and then you just open it up can get that in. And there is your urn. And if you needed to, if you put, now you're going to go over to your piece of furniture, you're going to put this up and you're going to take some painter's tape, put it up, go grab your Iron Orchid stamps or transfers and start playing around with placement. If this is too wide this way, you fold it back in half. You can draw again and make it a little bit smaller, a little slimmer, right? And you would cut that away, and then you would open it up again and tape it up, step away from your piece that you're working on, and look at what you've created and see how that works. When you decide you just absolutely love it, put your painter's tape around it, and then I don't have any with me, but make believe this is a piece of chalk, and I draw an outline of this on my piece, on my painted piece of furniture, or unpainted. The chalk will go on wood. I just draw around in chalk. I then paint it how I want, after, of course, pulling this off, and wait for it to dry, and you could stamp it. If you need a, what is it called, mask, so say you want to stamp the front like I did, but you don't want to stamp outside of it onto the painted, you know, the dresser drawers or whatever. You need something to stop the stamp. You have, let's see, you have a, how does this work? Yes, a mask. So you would take these pieces, right, that you cut away, and you would protect the painted surface underneath, okay? So this is your painted surface, right? You painted your urn. You want to stamp the front of it. Go grab those pieces that you cut off, put them down to protect, and then you could put your stamps down, pull these up, and you're good to go. Any questions at all? I know that might have been a little bit confusing, especially with using the mask, because we're not all used to using a mask, but Iron Orchid has them and for their stamps, but you can also make your own if you do something like this, your own original design. So any questions at all, please do ask me, and any questions that you have about painting, you know, what to do, what not to do, please ask. It's so much better to get an answer so that you don't waste time and money realizing you did something wrong, or, you know, the paints aren't getting along or something like that. If you go to, and I don't have my number in front of me, if you guys go to my Instagram, either Surface Anthology or Chalk Mercantile, I have my new text club number. So join it, and I will text you when I'm going live, when I get new products in. I'm getting a whole bunch of new Iron Orchid in, hopefully in a few days. When out of stock stuff is coming in, all kinds of good stuff, I will text you guys. So it's a really great way to keep up with what's happening at Chalk Mercantile and Surface Anthology. Thanks so much, you guys. Go give this a try and have a wonderful Thursday. Happy painting.